Casinos in the Metaverse.
Good morning. Welcome to the second day for AIBC. I hope everyone is enjoying the show. So yes, jumping straight to the panel, casinos in the Metaverse. As everyone knows, it's quite of a hype at the moment regarding what we can do and the opportunities. We're going to discuss various topics, the challenges, onboarding of customers, the streams that we can involve across the Metaverse and its technology itself. So yeah, starting from the panel, to introduce themselves.
Good morning, everybody. Carlos, testing, it's all good. Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for this panel. My name is Carlos René. I'm the CEO of DEGA. We're a full-stack development platform for Web3 gaming and Metaverse development.
Hi, everyone. Grech, can you hear me? Okay, it's good. Good morning. My name is Luca. I'm one of the co-founders of Metaverse Architects Limited. We're a development and advisory firm for the Metaverse. And I'm also an active member of the Decentraland DAO, where we take a number of decisions on the governance and future development of the platform.
Good morning. My name is Daniel. I'm founder of TRIIONFT project, and we are developing high realistic avatars and live casino experience in the Metaverse.
Okay, it works. Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Antsyferov. I'm from CBO from Trueplay. Basically, we tokenize casino and help them launch the token of their own, so the casino now operate with their own token and launch that on the DEX and use the play turn and hold turn mechanics within just a few clicks.
Very good. So starting from the first discussion regarding the Metaverse, from a technology side, we have various streams and there's various foundations that we can start looking into. But for someone new to the Metaverse and is interested looking at these new technologies, from which sides and from which parts that they can start getting into itself to start building the right future-proof Metaverse for the future? You can start, Carlos.
Yeah, thank you. So one thing that I would like to start off is by setting a concept or a context for this conversation in terms of what Metaverse means, right? So you're going to get different definitions from different people. A lot of them will think about VR when you say Metaverse. Other people will think about Web3 and NFTs. So from a general sense, right, at DEGA, we consider the Metaverse to be the tendency of blurring the lines between physical worlds and virtual worlds, right? And everything that allows you to do that is part of this new wave of technological experiences, right? So I'd say that in terms of the first steps that you can take towards this, it's going to be, first of all, it's going to be overwhelming in that sense. There's way too much things going on. Crypto and blockchain alone are a massive industry. So I would say that look to what the abstractions are, or what are the concepts that remained constant regardless of the type of technology. Like, for example, some people will argue that they believe in AR more than VR, for example, right? But more so than that, try to understand why would anybody even go there in the first place? Like, why do we use our mobile phones today? Why do you use your computer today, right? And a big part of that is the aspect of engagement, right? What captures your attention regardless of what you're doing, right? So basically, I would say start with one word, which is gamification. Whatever the hell you're doing, do it in a gamified way, right? And a very clear example that I like to set for this is that I consider the biggest gaming company of the world is not the ones that you would think of, right? Some people will think about Epic, for example. But what I believe is the biggest gaming company in the world is actually TikTok, right? It's a gamified experience that captures you. It's just not rewarding you with money, it's rewarding you with dopamine, right? But the whole engagement when you go into TikTok, that's a game, right? So whatever it is that you want to do, videos, gambling, or whatever it is that you want to do, you need to do it in an engaging, gamified way, right? And then just use the tools that you need to get that experience going.
Very good. Very good. Luca, from your end, being a pure builder, I would say, in the metaverse, you know, and what's your take on this?
From my perspective, I wanted to share a small anecdote and then maybe explain like with the links with the tech. The first time I went to a casino, I was in Australia, on the Gold Coast. I was living there. I went with some friends. We had just turned 18 and we walked inside and, you know, you go in person to a casino, it's impressive. There's high ceilings. People are wearing different things. People obviously have different identities. They look different. All ages. People, you know, even kind of show off a bit, maybe to try intimidate the poker player next to them. For me, when I sat down at my first poker table, the guy next to me put a gold bar on top of his cards, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's like, you know, a big stack bully or something. So I liken that kind of feeling to, you know, ownership of items. I think NFTs, cryptocurrency, and NFTs expressed as wearables in the form of fashion can have that same effect if we're thinking about a metaverse in a 3D environment. Kind of the work I've done in the past year to do with kind of getting online casinos, because at the end of the day, the metaverse is online, so online casinos kind of have an obvious pivot into the metaverse, is essentially trying to think how can we make their 2D games that are already popular. Already a lot of their users recognize the brand, recognize the experience and enjoy it, or like the kick they get out of it. And how can we kind of reimagine that experience from a 2D screen of you kind of playing alone into a 3D environment, playing together. So obviously the technology that's out there needs to allow this. And so far, the only platform that I've come across, which is completely open, has an SDK where developers can go in and you know, hook up their own APIs or hook up their own experiences without asking any permission from the people who actually created that platform. Is the one that we use mostly is Decentraland. And at the end of the day, that's one of the most important things for me, is that me as a user, I can have my own name, my own identity, my own property, and I can walk from casino to the other and take with me my reputation, what I look like, what I've won, and have no kind of lock-in that prevents me from kind of being, you know, my username, which my gamer username happens to be King Arrigo. So if I want to be King Arrigo in Casino A, I want to be the same user in Casino B. And I think that's kind of an important part of casinos in the metaverse.
So I think if we speak about the technology, it's very important actually to understand the needs of both sides, so players and casinos at the same time, because the main question is why people like to play live casinos. It's mainly because they can be sure that there is no hidden card under the table or something like that. They see the full process, and I think that's the main goal, to bring that experience into the metaverse. By saying from perspective of our project, that's the main task which we try to create. So basically, it's full body tracking. We just need to prove to people that the experience in the metaverse, it's exactly the same like in real life. And yeah, for players, it's a part of the experience. For casinos, it's something what they really need to have, because I think that's the main part and the only way to be in the metaverse. Because even if we go for games like blackjack or roulette, which are automated, there are a lot of people who don't play those games because they think everything is already automated and there's something behind it. So from my perspective, I really believe that full body tracking is the key. And very important is that if we speak about the casinos' needs, they don't want to put their dealers into VR headset or give them joystick. So it's very important to provide them body tracking, which is still comfortable for the dealers to deal the cards. So everything needs to be real for both sides.
Very good. No, at the end of the day, something to add as well, that the metaverse, building the metaverse is like building a game. At the end of the day, behind the metaverse, everyone will have his own avatar. Everyone can change his avatar and be who wants to be online presence across different worlds. But yes, Alex, what's your take on this, on the metaverse side?
Yeah, I mean, transparency would be the first thing that I want to bring up. Since if you go to a casino and make sure there are no shady schemes behind the scenes as a player, and if you say, all right, we're building the casino in Metaverse, you are still building the business that has to operate somehow. And the one simple question I want to break down here is to decide whether we go with an on-chain or a fully off-chain. So you can take the off-chain casino in Metaverse. Basically, that will be just in a game like in GTA 5. You go to casino, this is a Metaverse, but you are playing with nothing. You are playing with crystals, whatever. But if we're going fully on-chain, that totally changes the game. If you're going to an on-chain, you have to reinvent the whole gambling business. So first thing first, you have to take the deposits, and it means you have to apply the smart contracts, which basically destroy the whole UX thing, which we've been educating people, I mean, for a long time. So they started using the fiat with a MasterCard. It's been, 10 years. Then we finally figured out how to accept crypto, BTC, USDT and stuff. And let me bring this up to the discussion. And if we go with the fully on-chain Metaverse in a casino, the one thing as a business owner I can see, so this is the latest post by CoinDesk, DeFi platforms exploited for a total $2.5 billion so far this year. So 2.5. It basically means as a business owner, you say, okay, my smart contract is vulnerable, so anybody can steal the money. And that is the scene. So you grab the money from the users, right? And then somebody exploited that. And even you have the Curacao license. But another way, if we go the fully, not fully on-chain, the thing is, how would you prove to your users that you're fully transparent and all the transactions are in the blockchain and stuff? And if you say, all right, we're kind of decentralized, and the latest, and then the Sam Bankman-Friedman shows up and say, okay, we're the best centralized, you can trust us, bring us your money, and it's just boom, blown up. So the question is where we can find this intersection between on-chain and off-chain data where we do not lose the user experience on the one hand, and on another hand, as a business, we still can operate and gets profit. Because, all these people, all that happens, the whole Sigma conference, just because somebody get his card and deposit to the casino. And that's why we're all here.
No, for sure. And the good point that you mentioned at the end of the day, we are all waiting for regulations. It's something that it's a must. At the end of the day, yes, everyone is aware what is going on across the whole crypto space itself. So across the metaverse, it's something that is needed, especially when it comes to the transaction side. But yes, jumping onto the product side of the metaverse, as everyone knows, nowadays there's various tangible products that we need to connect to the metaverse itself. Is it digital collectibles, if it's digital assets itself? But yes, starting from your end, Carl, what's your take when it comes to the digital side and how to connect products within the metaverse?
So basically, what we've enabled through the usage of blockchain is what in systems we call a data-oriented architecture, right? In the sense that you have to structure the information that you're saving in a format that is then reusable, right? So, for example, right now, people can go and create applications that weren't the intention of the founder of a given collection, right? Be it for NFTs or be it for conventional tokens. Now, the thing with the struggle that we're feeling right now and that Alex mentioned in terms of the risk of building these systems is that they're very new, right? I know that, it's such a crazy industry that being here for 3 years feels like you've been here for like 20, right? But it's been a very short amount of time. Like even stable coins like DAI, right? They're super new. They're like 2018, something like that. So we still have a lot of tooling to build. For example, the approach that we're taking in DEGA to be able to facilitate the integration of these systems from a product perspective is abstracting away all the complexities that are underneath. And a good example of that is, for example, what AWS did for the cloud. Many of us here would recall that early 2000s, if you wanted to deploy a website, dear Lord, right? Like, you know, you had to get a bare metals server. You needed to log into that server and program everything from scratch. So now with AWS, I can just do click, 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 my server, right? Like I might not even interact with the server. Just give me a website, boom, 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 and I can use Squarespace or WordPress, right? So that's the level that we need to get to be able to kind of like think more about it as a product, as what you were saying, right? So right now, it's kind of like engineers making products for engineers. That's how it feels right now, right? The struggles of going through onboarding somebody on MetaMask.
Good point mentioned, because at the end of the day, you know, we still need the Web 2 layer that we utilize nowadays, especially from a front-end side. At the end of the day, you know, Web 3 is purely from a back-end side currently. But yes, Luca, from your end.
From our side, as a product, what we've been developing for clients is built on top of a platform that we support but have not developed. So from an infrastructure perspective, there's a lot less we need to think about because it's all there, it's open source for us to use. One thing that we're innovating on top of that platform is essentially creating our own Catalyst nodes, which would be running our own servers, which is still using the same decentralized technology to run our metaverse, but it gives us a lot more control and freedom over what we do inside of our own private spaces. So that's something that we're developing because we would like that when we launch our own casino, that we've got, you know, very low latency. You know, we have, you know, we could have a lot more, you know, influence on making sure that things are as best as possible for our users. But in the past year, we've already been integrating, you know, so slot machines, roulette games, by essentially just plugging in the Web 2 tech through APIs into this Web 3 platform. And yes, there's ways to go further and to be more creative and more innovative with how you build a metaverse casino by implementing maybe a social casino model where your users are able to play poker with free tokens and only pay if they'd like to gamble. And these models actually exist inside Decentraland and are running extremely well, even in a bear market, because I guess if people want to play a game, it doesn't matter if the price is up or down, they're still going to play a game. Which is interesting because I myself started my company on saying I want to be in the blockchain industry, in the cryptocurrency industry, but I don't want to be a speculator. I don't want to be somebody who's just investing and only making capital gains. I want to be somebody who's building something that can generate cash flow. And casinos have proven to be one of the most obvious ones or the easiest ones for people to adopt at this point in time. And we're looking forward to at least taking it further and creating more complex casino models on a platform where it's already possible.
Daniel, yourself, avatars.
So basically from our project side, yeah, we are providing the avatars, and this is one of the products. But yeah, as I said as well, we have a technology for the body tracking, and we are developing spaces for casino. And if we speak about other products, what might be there in the metaverse, there is one important part which we need to understand. So are we going to make it on-chain or off-chain? And it's more important actually not only for casinos, but for the users, because casinos, they have money to do that, they are very free on that. And are people ready for that? If we go for on-chain, we can implement, for example, NFTs there. If we go off-chain, so it's totally different products, not different product actually, it's a different way to sell the products, I think. And for us, it's to say exactly what we're gonna sell, what kind of products we're gonna sell. It's very important to understand if are the casinos and their clients are ready to be on-chain, or we still need to go for off-chain and provide everything what they can get in real life, but in the metaverse. So that's something very important. Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah, I mean, the on-chain itself, it's not that easy how we may think about that. So how many of you are MetaMask users? Okay, half of the audience, right? How many of you know how to borrow and lend crypto in some DeFi protocols? 5%. And then the question is, if we say about the on-chain product casino, so the first thing first, you have to have the MetaMask wallet. Then you have to deposit to the MetaMask wallet USDT or something, not a Bitcoin, all right, because you are operating in a ETH network. Then you have to have some BNBs to pay for fees, and then you have to connect your wallet with the casino somehow. And that's a problem. When it comes to just a simple deposit to a casino, you have to pass the long and complicated journey before you jump in and start playing. And the whole gambling business is just about one button, just play. And that's it. And we're trying to bring something very, very complicated to the status quo, which has been, which has been operating for the last 10, 15 years. What we realized that users found that hard, and what they want, they want to play. And this is where the Trueplay jumps in. So we understand that we'll let the casino and the users do their stuff in Web 2, accept payments and stuff, and then within just a few clicks, make an exchange inside and buy some tokens. And well, basically we are the layer between a Web 3 and a Web 2, and we provide all the features from the Web 3, like play to earn and hold to earn for the players. And the one thing how we can assure the transparency, we just have all the data from the game content providers and hash the data in the blockchain. This is like proof of history, kind of proof of history. But it happens in the Web 2, and as a layer, we prove the data and put the data into the Web 3. But we have all understand this is not fully decentralized world. And I bet, in next 5 years, we won't bump into this adoption, because even in that audience, people know about casino, people know about the MetaMask and Bitcoin and stuff, and just 10% are users of MetaMask. And 5 of them tried some DeFi protocols. And basically, as a casino, we are a DeFi protocol. People just borrow some money and then play with that money.
Very interesting, very interesting. I don't know, before we close up the chat, if anyone has any questions, maybe. Yes?
What games do you think, what casino or gambling games do you think will be popular in the Metaverse?
Anyone? Daniel?
As a casino developers, I can say from our side, I think it's pretty much same which are in real life, like blackjack. Blackjack, it's very popular, not just because it's easy game. Yeah, first of all, it's really easy to understand how to play, and the game is very fast. So basically, to earn or lose money, it's 5 seconds. And roulette. So the way how to start playing, if I'm new user, the easiest game or two. So blackjack and roulette.
Yeah, I would say, I want to answer that question as well. I would say the Metaverse brings us the very simple mechanic. If I'm playing the casino, I'm playing just solo, just making bets. But in Metaverse, I can join my team, the friends of mine, acquaintances, whoever, and we can play together. So the Metaverse would be, I would say, the next thing when it comes to team playing, like you were playing the Counter-Strike, Dota 2 or something. So you can play with the teammates, maybe we'll share some budget, or maybe we'll have some PvPs with other clans, groups, or something. That is not the nearest future, right? Because we're still learning and educating users how to top up their balance with the USDT. So probably we'll see that in 10 years, or maybe if somebody will invent this super layer which helps us to bring those.
Something to mention as well, obviously keep in mind that products and companies like PokerStars have been in the Metaverse for quite some time when it comes to the poker side. Obviously, they're not regulated, so everyone is playing for free money. But I would say there is certain products that we can learn from, and obviously anything that is implemented, we cannot assume, and we need to have an element of education. Although if the customer has been in Vegas or multiple casinos, it's a new stream, it's a new layer of technology, so we need to fall down and educate the customer before just onboarding them to play into our casinos and games. Any questions before we close off? Yep. Luca, maybe?
I would just, the questions I ask, so it's a very difficult question. It's like being in 2004 and saying, is MySpace or High Five or Facebook going to be the social media? But the questions that I like to ask are, especially since, you know, that I got into the industry with a focus on wanting to participate in the blockchain economy. So I start asking the questions of values and fundamentals, essentially. If I upload content onto this platform, do I own what I upload? Is there an opportunity for who is running this organization to do something like FTX did and, you know, completely screw the economy of this metaverse platform? Because at the end of the day, it is an economy that needs to be balanced and taken care of. So those are two questions that I think are important. And then obviously there's the one of decentralization as well, which ties into the second one as well. So those are the questions that I ask. And an important one that's very important for developers is, can I come onto this platform and can I innovate on top of this platform? And if I innovate on top of this platform, is my innovation mine? And that's something that so far, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but there's
not Meta.
Not Meta, no. But there are still Web3, there are still many organizations that are marketing to Web3 as metaverse platforms and are only doing so for the marketing spin or to acquire users. So I think we should really be sure that if we're choosing platforms, we are thinking about how are they being run, what are their values, what are their code of conduct. Sorry if I'm taking up too much time. But
Don't have time. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us this morning. I hope you have a fantastic day at the event and the show. Thank you.